had been telling him, I don't know if selling NFTs is the way to, you know, produce further episodes. I think it might be a better path to try and sell it, you know, to someone and produce it that way. No. He was stuck on this idea that he wanted to sell the NFTs. So anyway, I said, I need to talk to my friend's husband, who's an entertainment lawyer, and see what he says. Okay, fine, go ahead and talk to him. And so I called him up and I told him, you know, this is where we're at right now. And I had sent him all of the IP and what we had developed. And he goes, okay, great, you're right. You know, you do need to set this up as a franchise. And I have I don't do that, but I have a friend who does that, so I can refer you to him. And I personally think that you should be getting between 20 and 25% of the project. So I've got all your information. All I need is Johnny's full name and ID and his address. And I said, well, I'm sorry, but I don't know that. I don't have any. He's like, what are you talking about? And I said, I don't know his full name. It's always been, you know, the whole anonymity of the crypto thing. And he's like, oh my God. He goes, well, okay, here's where we're at right now. I can't refer you to my friend and say, well, here's all Patricia's, but she doesn't know who her partner is, because he'll hang up on me. So he said, I think this guy's gonna rip you off. But the only thing you can do right now is you've got to call him and say, look, Johnny, we've reached a point where you can't be anonymous anymore. So I need a copy of your ID, I need your phone number, I need your address, and then we can move forward with this contract. She said, tell him that, and if he balks at that, end the conversation and call me, because we need to protect your IP. So, yes, so I did that, and Johnny basically said, oh, well, you know, that's really too bad. I thought we had a great working relationship, Patricia, and I really don't want to do a contract. And really, you know, the only reason I hired you is I know, you know, in addition to being a screenwriter, I know you have a lot of, because I'd sent him my CV, he knew where I lived, right? And my whole background and everything. You know, I know you have a lot of production experience, and so I was hoping to learn from you, and then after the pilot, I'm just going to produce them all on my own. And so, you know, you've basically been my teacher, and so I'm not doing any contract, and I'm willing to give you 4% of. So he had projected that each of the NFT sales were going to be on the low end, about 2 million each. So he said, I'll give you 4% of that, but no contract, like, and no way for me to know, you know, how much he was making or anything, right? And then at that point, it just hit me that he was, just because he'd really been pushing me in a big hurry, that he was going to be doing what's called a rug pull, which is when, and it was common in the crypto scene, is someone would advertise a project, and you know, and people are thinking, oh, if I invest in this and I really like the, you know, the pilot, for example, and I buy all these NFTs, they're going to grow in value as more episodes are produced, and I'm going to be, you know, holding a valuable asset. But then he most likely would have sold the two things, like, you know, done the first release, released the pilot, that now would have my name attached to it.
Sure.
Release the second NFT and take the money and run. And so then the NFTs would be valueless and my name would be associated with the rug pull. So that's, I mean, you know, obviously it never happened, but I'm pretty sure that that's what he was going to do, because that's what they were all doing, right? and why the insistence on me being the face of the project and the anonymity if he wasn't planning on doing something shady, and then offering me 4% of something that I could never collect on, right? So I think the last thing I said to him was, well, now that I know I'm your teacher, I'm going to give you one last lesson, and that's that things you need to own the IP, or the person who does own the IP is going to fuck you over. And then that was the end of it. So yeah, so then I called back the entertainment lawyer, and he's like, I told you so. So we scrambled and copyrighted and registered the IP and the song and the name. And then
so you own the whole thing?
Yeah. So then Johnny I didn't want to talk to him anymore, but he sent me some emails and said, okay, do you want to, I'll buy it from you, right? And so we agreed on a price, and I was going to sell it to him. And so, but I wasn't going to accept crypto. It would have had to, go through the regular channels and everything. So, and this entertainment lawyer, my friend, bless his heart, was, in the middle and organizing this, and he never charged me anything. And then, that, I think it was all kind of sorted on a Friday, and the payout was supposed to happen by end of Monday, the following Monday. And it was a Saturday. So I'd been used to like 7 days a week, at least 12 hours a day, just being immersed, and suddenly everything ceased, right? And I was gonna sell it to him, and it would have been a nice payday for me. But I just remember just feeling really uneasy and restless. And then I just kind of came to the realization, I don't want to sell it to him because he's gonna screw it up. He's going to screw it up, and it's my baby, and I've just been immersed in this, and I love this concept. So, so I called the lawyer, and I said, I don't want to sell it to him. I want to try and indie produce it with the amount of money that I've earned over these past 3 months, which was a fraction of the budget Johnny had given me, but still, I thought, I don't want him to screw it up. I want to do this. Can I do this? Can I, since we've agreed to, no contracts have been signed, but we had an agreement and some emails, that he said, yes, I'll pay you this much, and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, yeah, you can pull the offer off the table anytime, right? So I said, well, that's what I want to do. So he wrote me a little statement to send to Johnny, and so that was the end of that.
Never heard from this guy again?
No, he disappeared into the crypto, the blue nowhere.
Are you concerned he might show up again?
No.
Okay.